There is absolutely no better teacher in life than life itself, experience. And that is why we should be mindful of just taking or sending our children to school because it is the norm. It is fascinating how different life experiences can seem so different, from the surface level, yet they are so tightly tied with a thread at the roots. I am so passionate about protecting our kids in every way possible so that they don't grow up into adults who then have to fall or find themselves in very deep pits just so that they can start to figure out what life is truly about. Today I want to talk about two spots in life that are so vastly and distinctly very different on a surface level, but they are interconnected by a void or such a kind of emptiness that comes to a person if they have zero self-awareness, and that is rock bottom and of course being at the top. Being in these two spots in life, being at the rock bottom and being at the top, are two places that if you have zero self-awareness, you are going to experience a kind of emptiness that you start wondering. And especially if you've made your way up to the top, you will start wondering, you have looked out for everything else that society or the world told you that you needed to look for outside of yourself, but still you cannot tend to find the fulfillment that you have been working so hard for. And that drives me, it drives me to the point where I just want to talk about self-awareness and how we should work it out and support our kids so that they grow so much self-aware. Nothing really gets them not ready or unawares. Most of us have found ourselves in very deep pits in life, and then that is what triggers our wanting to understand. So what was life about anyway? Like, why did you have to work so hard to get to the top, only to get there and you feel the most empty you have ever felt in life? It almost feels like it's even better to have nothing at all or being at the rock bottom than having everything and you cannot relate to anyone else. So let's talk about self-awareness and how we should help our kids grow up with it so that they don't find themselves in some of these situations that then unfortunately some of them just drive them down the dark places or down the bad roads. So self-awareness in itself, a lot of us don't even understand what it is. It is the ability to see yourself clearly. You have to understand and see your thoughts. By the way, it is very interesting because in being awakened, in being self-aware, you can be able to sit with your thoughts and be the one, you're the one watching them. Like, I can see that is a thought, I can feel it, that is a thought, but I want it to take my feelings this way, I want it to end up this way, I want these results from these thoughts. But if you're not self-aware, then you cannot even be able to be to control your own thoughts, your emotions, your motive, or even your patterns. You should be able to tell what makes me happy, what makes me angry, how do I feel when I relate with certain people, what do I feel when I do certain work. Being so self-aware with what triggers any of your emotions, any of your energy, so that you are able to either get closer to that or get away from whatever situation it is. It is basically like a SWOT analysis of yourself. If you cannot conduct your own SWOT analysis, like what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what opportunities do you have, and what are the threats, around each and every one of your days, then you're not as self-aware. And unfortunately, again, we are the adults who are expected to raise children like we understand what we are doing. And if we are not already in the light of who we are as adults, then what do you expect us to raise? A child's self-awareness means they're able to express themselves. For example, they can say, I feel angry because of this and this. I like being around kind people because they give me a certain kind of feeling. This is how they make me feel. Or for example, how do I feel when somebody teases or bullies me? They can also be able to appreciate, to be grateful about things around them. They are also able to tell when they need their time alone. Boundaries. That is a very self-aware kid, that they know how it makes them feel, they know how it affects their emotions, their thoughts and everything, and they can be able to excuse themselves or stay away from situations that do not favor them. So, how can we help our kids grow up in self awareness? We could start by being highly intentional about the literature that our kids are reading. Unfortunately, a lot of what you find in the stores are books curated to keep our kids high on dopamine, entertainment, and nothing. It's not even about value, it's about stories that just keep them addicted. I write for children. You can get them any of these books, and more coming, and especially for teenagers very soon. So let us be intentional about what our kids read. Number one, you have to model it. Like on a runway, you know how you model an outfit on the runway? You have to model what you want your kids to learn. Kids do not learn from instructions. Mostly kids, and especially when young, they learn from observing their caregivers, their parents. And you cannot teach them or tell them to do other things different from what you're doing. They are going to want to try what you're doing, so model it, be the model. Okay, children will always learn more by observing what you're doing other than instructions. And the other thing, number two, you need to learn how to name emotions. Call emotions for what they are and how they make you feel. For example, I feel tired. I think I need some rest. You could also excuse yourself from them, even if you had a time together. That will teach them that it's okay, it's understandable. You will feel exhausted, but you can always excuse yourself. You don't have to push yourself too hard into exhaustion. Like somebody who has no boundaries, excuse yourself, go take some rest. You're modeling it. Help them name their emotions together with you, like do it together. Okay. Allow them put words or name whatever they are feeling. And that is why I keep saying we need to learn how to give true and clear information to children in a way that they can understand. Another thing, create reflective moments. Like after school, it's parenting is more about creating time for your kids, because if we may say it's not like you have all the time in the world, but we always have to create time for things that we really love or are important to us, and our kids are. So create reflection moments with them. For example, ask them what made you happy today, what made you sad, what felt difficult, and how can I help. Such kind of. Another important thing, encourage a mind and body connection. Okay? For example, ask them when they are sad, how does your head feel? How does like your heart feel? How did your stomach feel? If they are afraid of something, how did your tummy feel? Teach them. It is important that we teach our kids about intuition, and that is something I'm going to speak about on another post. Intuition, very important. I am that parent who teaches my kids, or my daughter, because she is the one who is at least 8 years. I teach her to even look through people's eyes, because eyes are always a gateway to the soul, and to listen to her instincts as much as possible. Another thing, when your child is upset, validate their feelings. Don't be rash or quick to just correcting them all the time. Validate their feelings so that you can help them process. And finally, teach them quiet time. Quiet time is very important for everybody, parent, children, everyone. Being able to sit with your own feelings and feeling that everything is okay, everything will be okay. That's self awareness. Encourage journaling, walks, or even sitting alone in quiet places, so that it can ignite their creativity. Anything that gives space for their inner listening, encourage it. All the best.